My FIL mocked my son for not being a real boy and called him weak. Then one birthday meltdown exposed who the real failure was. My father-in-law, Richard, never had anything nice to say about my 8-year-old son, Oliver. That boy throws like he's afraid of the ball, he'd announce at every family gathering. When I was his age, I was already on traveling teams. Oliver can't even catch. He'd make Oliver stand in the backyard while he threw balls at him hard, then mock him when Oliver flinched. You're raising him soft, he'd tell me and my husband Paul. When Oliver showed him a drawing he'd made, Richard laughed. Art is for kids who can't play sports. Is that what you want to be? Oliver had stopped showing him anything creative after that. Richard would quiz Oliver on sports statistics at dinner, then shake his head when Oliver didn't know them. How can you not know who won the Super Bowl in 1987? Oliver was 8. He liked dinosaurs and reading. Richard called these interests embarrassing. At Oliver's school play where he had the lead role, Richard sat in the front row making disapproving faces. Afterward, he told everyone that his grandson was wasting time on drama instead of joining Little League. Theater kids don't get scholarships. Athletes do. My husband Paul never stood up to his father. He'd been crushed by the same criticism growing up and now just stayed quiet. That's just how dad is, Paul would say. Richard had been a high school quarterback 40 years ago and never got over it. His study was covered in old trophies. He still wore his Letterman jacket even though it didn't fit anymore. At Thanksgiving, Richard announced he'd signed Oliver up for football camp without asking us. 6 weeks this summer. They'll make a real player out of him. When Oliver said he didn't want to go, Richard called him pathetic in front of 15 relatives. This is what happens when mothers baby their sons. Oliver started getting stomach aches before family visits. Richard noticed and used it as more ammunition. Kid can't even handle family dinner. The breaking point came at Oliver's 9th birthday party. We'd rented a science museum because Oliver loved experiments. Richard showed up with a football-themed cake to replace our dinosaur one. Time to grow up, he announced, throwing our cake in the trash. He'd brought his old high school teammates as surprise guests. 4 drunk 60-year-old men reliving glory days while Oliver's actual friends watched confused. Richard made Oliver open his gift in front of everyone. Football gear. All of it. This is what a real boy needs. Not books and toys. Oliver started crying. Richard's face turned red. Are you seriously crying? At your own party? Man up right now. That's when Oliver threw up. All over Richard's Letterman jacket. All over the football gear. All over Richard's shoes. Richard jumped back disgusted. This is what I'm talking about. Weak stomach, weak mind, weak everything. But something interesting happened. Richard's old teammate Doug stepped forward. Rich, the kid's obviously sick. Why are you yelling at him? Another teammate, Frank, looked around at the science museum. This is actually pretty cool. Smart kid you got here. Richard tried to rally them. We need to toughen him up. Remember how coach pushed us? Doug laughed. Coach pushed us at football. You're pushing a 9-year-old to be you. That's different. Frank picked up Oliver's dinosaur book. My grandson loves these too. Your grandson could become a paleontologist. That's impressive. Richard's face got redder. He needs sports. He needs competition. That's when Doug said something that changed everything. Is that why you've been lying about Paul all these years? Telling everyone he was a star athlete when we all know he quit freshman year for robotics? The room went silent. Paul's head snapped up. What? Doug continued. Your dad tells people at reunions that you played varsity, shows fake photos. We all knew he was lying but felt too bad to call him out. Frank nodded. He photoshopped Paul's face onto my son's body in team photos. It's disturbing. Paul stood slowly. You've been telling people I played football? I built robots, Dad. I won state championships in robotics. I got a full scholarship for engineering, not sports. Richard stammered. I was fixing your reputation. Paul laughed angrily. Fixing? I make 3 times your highest salary designing technology you can't understand. But you're ashamed because I didn't throw a ball? Oliver had stopped crying, watching his dad stand up to Richard for the first time. Paul walked over to Oliver. My son reads at 6th grade level. He knows every dinosaur. He's brilliant and kind. If you can't see that, you don't deserve to be his grandfather. Richard tried to argue, but Doug cut him off. Rich, you peaked in high school. Stop punishing your family for moving past that. The teammates left. The parents started leaving, but told Oliver how cool his party was. Richard stood there in his vomit-covered jacket, watching Oliver excitedly discuss experiments with other kids. Paul told him to leave. What have you done since 1982, Dad? Besides live in the past and torture anyone who doesn't fit your fantasy? Richard left and hasn't returned.